some years ago I found this conflict on YouTube, and I just always kept it around, and I figured one of these days I would take it apart and kind of analyze it, see if I might be able to use it to describe what's going on between people and help people understand conflict from the point of view of a marriage and family therapy. And these are not bad people. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with them. I don't know enough about them. They're not my clients. I don't know anything about them other than what I see here. But most people that get into conflicts are not bad people. They just get triggered. And they're both triggered here. And this family is in distress from what we can see here by the way that they communicate. Earl is communicating something by being late and not calling, and then Kim is communicating something by standing behind the car and basically holding him hostage and holding herself hostage and the kids hostage as she tries to find out or assert her power and control over him.
I need answers. As custodial parent, I'm supposed to know exactly what's what.
Kim, can I leave now?
Can you please tell me where you cut my children's hair?
I
had no authority.
I gave my kids a haircut.
You had no authority. Did you come?
Did you have my kids behind us?
Did you consult with me?
Kim, let me peel off.
Did you consult with me?
Can I leave now?
Let's be a man for once.
Can I leave?
Consult with me. Ma, can you get the police because... Yeah, he's taking my photo because he won't tell me exactly what happened. He has no right to do that. I asked you a simple question.
So your mom going to get the police?
I don't know. I'm asking you a question. Where did you do this? Earl, they don't...
Kim, you're really making the kids nervous.
Earl, I know my own children ever since. Okay?
Ever since what?
I know my children.
Ever since what?
Since you abandoned them.
I
know
abandoned
them, okay?
Oh, I thought I left you.
No, I'm recording it too, just to make sure that we're even, Steven, okay?
Yeah, I don't care about
no
that.
problem.
Oh, don't scratch the car.
Oh, no, scratch the car. Go ahead. Do whatever you want to do.
Come on, let me hold the train.
No, that's their train.
I got the train until...
Okay, hold on. No, you hold on to that train. Don't let him take that away from you. Nope.
Don't let him put the train on the car, please,
Then
Kim.
you need to tell me exactly what happened.
Oh, I see you got the boys crying.
Well, you took his train.
Don't scratch the car.
I didn't take it.
Don't scratch the car.
Question.
Get daddy a kiss. Get daddy a
Answer
kiss.
the question.
Look.
Something really interesting is happening in terms of conflict tactics from Kim. Kim is allowing the children to put the cars, their trains, on the car and scratch the car. And that's kind of a subtle jab at him, or not so subtle jab at him. And they're also giving the kids mixed signals. Don't put the train on the car. He's saying, yes, put the train on the car. And that just is really, as you can see, really hard on the kids. The kids are very distressed, and they get more distressed as they continue with the conflict. And it's just, parents often don't realize children can deal with divorce better than they can watching you squabble destructively. That's probably the worst part of a divorce for a kid, is the fact that they've got to witness two parents that they love destroying each other, or just not being very nice to each other, frightening them, giving them different signals, different instructions at the same time, being really considerate of each other's feelings. And so that really is stressful. That's stressful for me watching it. I know it's stressful for two little boys that are probably less than 4 years old. You can see them crying and not knowing what to do. Dad is saying, give me the train, and then he's upset, and then it's give me a kiss, and it's just real confusing what's going on. It's unfortunate that they're using the kids in this way, that they've been brought into the conflict this way.
Can I pick them up, Kim?
Put him down.
Can I pick the
You're
kid
over
up?
the time.
You're
over the time.
So I can't pick the kids up?
Let go. Would you tell me what you did?
So I can't pick the kids up?
Tell me what you did.
They got a haircut, Kim.
Where? Where, Earl? You put a shaver to their head. How dare you do that?
You finished? And your mom is going to get the police, huh? Kim, would you please have them get the train off the car?
Answer the question.
I'm going to take the train from them, okay?
Take them and then they'll be bawling and it's all you. That's it.
They can't have the train on the car.
Well, then you need to answer the question.
Why don't you back up from the car then?
You need to answer the question.
Back up from the car.
They're going to remember you as an image of taking this away.
Then back up from the car, Kim.
Then answer my question, please.
Back up from the car.
Answer my question.
Kim, you shouldn't be doing this in front of kids.
Would you please tell me? You're doing it, Earl. Who gave you the right to do that? Who gave you the right?
Oh, I wish you let me leave, Kim.
Who gave you the right? You were over an hour and a half late. Go ahead, get your change, sweetie. Who gave you the right to shave their head?
Well, don't I pay child support? And don't they my kids too?
Child support has nothing to do. You are non-custodial with visitation. You have no rights whatsoever to do anything like this without consulting with me first.
One of the interesting things about this conflict, and about all conflicts, is we don't really have conflicts with people that we don't care about or that we're not interdependent with. You know, this couple needs each other. What they do, what each of them does affects the other. And they don't seem to understand that. They need some help seeing that. They actually need each other. They're raising children. They're going to need each other for a long time. They got another, 18 to 20 years of this. And so whatever gratification they're getting from trying to, use power over each other and trying to hurt each other with words because they feel hurt or they feel, let's just say, some kind of way, that's affecting their relationship, and it's affecting the way that the children view relationships. It's affecting the way the children view marriage, the way they view men, women. This is really destructive, and it's starting, early for the children. They're witnessing something that the conflict in and of itself isn't bad for children to witness. It's destructive conflict that takes its toll on people. We need to learn how and watch each other engage in constructive conflict, problem solving, and working out differences and problems. We need to see that, but we don't need to have our children involved in negative conflict, and that's what this is primarily, is a negative conflict.
Oh, here comes your mama. I know it's about to get worse. Kim, you see, you can't let them scratch up the car.
I'm sorry. I need to know what you did.
I'm going to give it back. Daddy going to give it back. You can't scratch up the car, okay? Okay? Come on. Give Daddy a kiss. Give Daddy a kiss.
Give the car back.
Let me give him a kiss, Kim. Let me go.
Okay, give it the car. Give it.
Okay.
Give him the train.
Come get Daddy a kiss.
Get the train. Here, go over here. Take him. Give me the train.
You leaving now?
Where's your coat? I don't know. Where's my coat? Where's my stuff?
It's in that bag that you gave me. Oh, you did give me coats, huh?
Yes, I did give you coats,
Oh,
and I gave you hats, and I gave you food.
Okay, back up so I can open the trunk.
Go right ahead.
Come
Come on, baby. I'm sorry, what'd you say? What? It works. Does the battery doesn't work? Oh, you gotta turn it on.
Get the coats, Earl.
When she back up.
They're waiting for us.
What do you mean? Get the coats.
When she back up.
You can go get the
I don't want you behind me, Kim, because
I really don't care about you, Earl.
you know what? The coats are in the suitcase.
No, let me get it.
The coats are in the suitcase.
Stop the phone.
It's
mess.
already videotaped. It's okay.
If my
Can
picture
I have
gets
my
on the
coats?
internet,
Don't worry about it.
and you think
you
it's
can sue
funny,
him. You can do a
you
civil
see,
suit.
that's why
Yeah.
you're such a coward, Earl.
Say that again, Miss Woods?
These are the 3-year-olds, not you.
Okay.
Grow up.
Okay.
That's enough. It's okay.
When
Can
you
I have,
hold
wait,
me
can I
on the
have my
phone
children's coats,
to
please?
introduce yourself,
I
you
know
were
they gotta get
saying
my
that you
coats.
were respectable.
Damn. Okay, did you ever find my mom's obituary?
Can you? You never gave it to me. But can I have my coats, please?
Get the coats, please.
You're trying to change the subject. I know. Howard.
Just get the coats.
No, they must be in that suitcase.
What do you want? I'm
Let's
sorry.
go
You want my
wait in the
name?
car.
Yeah, go wait in the car.
It's right there.
He's trying to do something for the poor thing.
No, these are my coats. That's so typical. It's nothing new.
Oh, there you go.
Say another word to him. He's not even worth it.
I know.
But don't you ever touch my children like that again without consulting me. I am custodial.
I'm gonna give them a haircut next
The
time.
judgment of the divorce, you do not touch
Oh, is
their
that a
hair.
threat?
Is that
I'm just telling you, if they need a haircut, I'll give it to them.
threatening my children?
If they need a haircut, I'll give it to them.
They
told
just
you to
had a
cut the
haircut.
haircut?
Do you want me to send you the bill?
You do not cut
And you
them.
think it's funny?
Yeah, send me the bill.
You think it's funny?
Earl, you should have been more conscious about them being sick with the fever instead of trying to give them a haircut.
Oh,
Kim.
he's videotaping that.
I know.
Whatever happened prior to this conflict has got them in a position of videotaping each other and threatening to call the police, and that the atmosphere between them is one of distrust, and that's really tough, because if you don't trust the person that you're parenting with, if you don't trust the person that you have an ongoing relationship with, it's a problem. It's not just a problem in the moment that you're with that person. It's a problem in that, as you can see, they're ultimately going to get the police involved. They're already making an exchange at the police department. This is an expensive conflict to have. The police, and they're using the children. They're making threats. They're calling the police department on each other, using video camera footage, to try to capture what's going on between them. The trust is just shot, and it's expensive. A lot of times I field inquiries from couples that expect me to be a judge when they come to my office or they talk to me. They want to tell me everything that their partner did wrong, and they want me to secretly side with them to tell their partner to stop doing certain things. And what I try to do is help clients see their part in the conflict, because when a conflict starts, each party wants to secretly control the behavior of the other person. And really what needs to happen is each person needs to control their own behavior. And then we can keep the conflict from spiraling out of control. And so when Miss Woods, the children's grandmother, their mom's mother, comes over, she just escalates the conflict more. Name calling, threatening. And so the whole family is distressed.
I'm doing the same thing, Mom.
I'm going to crack him on his head.
Miss Woods, back up.
Behave yourself.
Back up, Miss Woods.
Behave yourself.
It's a waste of space.
Behave yourself.
Get out the car, y'all scared me.
Waste of space. You okay, Steve?
What is your name, honey?
What's your name?
Huh?
Hold on, Miss Woods.
Ronnie?
What's your mommy's name?
What's your name?
What's your mommy's name?
What's your mommy's name?
Let the car go. Y'all,
Are you touching me?
Get away from the car.
Are you hitting me?
Get away from the car.
Are you hitting me?
Get away from the car.
Did you just hurt me?
Get away from the car.
Did you just hurt me?
Get away from the car.
Did you just put your hands on me?
Are you hitting me?
Get away from the car.
Did you put your hands on me?
On purpose.
Get
Did
away
you
from the
put
car.
your hands on me?
Let's go.
You put your hands on me, I'm going to have a physical... Go ahead,
Right.
go ahead, let's go. I'm going to put a complaint against you.
I'm about to walk him back to the police station myself.
Let's go. You put your hands on me.
They get into some yelling and screaming match in the parking lot. Help, help. You can run into trouble exchanging children while black in our society. Somebody sees that, calls the police, then you got a whole different kind of problem. In my domestic violence group, I always have one or two guys that got into a loud argument with their partner, didn't hit anybody, but a neighbor heard them arguing with their partner, called the police roll up, and it's, can you step out of the house, sir? And the next thing that happens, they're going to jail, and then they're ending up in my DV group. And now they're looking at 52 weeks at X amount of dollars and a whole bunch of other stuff that they got to do in order to get out of arguing while black. And people of color, we express ourselves differently. And this society criminalizes our culture. So we got to be careful. It's almost like we need to be taught to each other in a way that won't send us to jail. So this conflict, it's unnecessary. That's why it just feels so bad. It's just, you don't have to communicate like that, but people have to be taught. They're doing the best that they can based on what they know. And it can get them in a lot of trouble. It can lead to a lot of distress. Even if they don't end up, in front of the police or in front of a judge or with a lawyer, they can just be miserable and unproductive and sad, depressed, and unable to really enjoy, the family that they have, any ongoing relationship that they have with someone else, because they're worried about this and worried about this ongoing conflict within the family. You don't have to live this way. We know how to help people with conflict. We know how to help you improve this. There's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of ways to help families reduce the amount of conflict between family members and feel better about themselves and learn how to be families apart.
Leaving a child in the car. It's so typical. Come on. So whose kid was in the car seat? My kid or her kid?
They have 3 car seats.
In the front seat?
No, I just put that in the front
In
seat.
the front seat?
Go get a license, Woods.
In the front seat, Earl?
Go get a license.
Go get a license.
Yeah, go get a life.
Go get. Oh, I have a life. You're the one that don't have a life.
When I was
Why
on
don't you grow up?
your husband had a woman out there in North Carolina.
You know, Earl.
I'm just.
I won't even answer that.
I bet you won't.
I won't even answer that.
I bet you won't.
And you had another girl while you were dating my daughter.
I wish I did. I wouldn't have married her. I wish I did. I would have married her.
Well,
So Earl tears a page out of a sitcom playbook and asks Ms. Woods if she knows that her husband had a woman in North Carolina. So just insulting. And that's the grandmother of his children, his wife's mom, his ex-mother-in-law. And it's just amazing. This is somebody that he's going to need down the road. This is someone that he's got an ongoing relationship with. And he's just making it more difficult to deal with her and making her more resentful every time he opens his mouth. So the way we communicate during a conflict determines whether it's destructive or constructive. And we really, I can't emphasize this enough, when the conflict starts, I really need to control my own behavior. If I can control my own behavior, the conflict will not escalate. If you get nothing more from this video, get that. Learn to control your own behavior once the conflict starts. Let me know what you think. Put a comment down, make a comment down below. Let me know what you think. If you see it differently, let me know that too. This is just my interpretation of this conflict. It's nothing here is etched in stone. This is just the way that I see it and how I would try to work with a family